Welcome to this presentation by the Teaching and Learning Institute entitled Education Now. This specific program is entitled An Opportunity to Serve in Your Local Public School. The program is divided into 3 sessions. You may choose to view 3 sessions all at once or watch 1 session at a time. Our presenter today is Dr. Ralph Kerr, President of the Teaching and Learning Institute, located in Houghton, New York.
Dr. Kerr has been involved in public education for over 30 years. In addition to being a teacher and administrator, Dr. Kerr served as a school superintendent for 18 years in 3 different school districts in New York State. Dr. Kerr is currently serving his 2nd term as a school board member. The mission of Teaching and Learning Institute is to encourage people with Judeo-Christian ethics to consider running for their local public school board. Your host for this session is Ethan.
Good day, I'm Ethan and I'm a CTE student. I'm pleased to be your first host on this section of An Opportunity to Serve in Your Public School. As mentioned before, I am here with Dr. Ralph Kerr, President of the TLI, who will serve as our presenter for this session. Each session contains information one will need to know when thinking about running for the school board. In session 1, questions such as what is a school board, what do they do, and what are the qualifications to become a school board member will be answered. In session 2, the questions who is our school board and reasons not to join, reasons to join, and what are the qualities to become a good school board member will be answered. In session 3, important information about running for the school board will be addressed. That information includes what time commitment is necessary to become a school board member, what does an interested person actually need to become a member or a candidate, is there a timeline involved in becoming a candidate, how can TLI help you, and finally, we will discuss other ways to become involved in your local school district. So with that out of the way, Dr. Kerr, let's begin with a few basic questions. What is the school board?
Well, that's a good question to start today. First of all, the school board is a group of people that are elected. They're community members, and they are actually the corporate body of the school district that oversees and manages the school district's affairs, their personnel, and the properties within the school district. Members of the school board are elected for either 3, 4, or 5-year terms by the residents of the school district in regular elections. And school boards are comprised of either 5, 7, or 9 members, depending on the size of the district and the determination of the district voters about size.
Interesting. Now that we know specifically what a school board is, can you tell us about what it actually does?
Yeah, the school board is really the policy-making part of the school. It sets the policy, it reviews the policies, and then passes that off to the administration within the school district to bring about the actual operation, the day-to-day operation of the school. The board also approves all the curriculum within the district, so every subject has to have a curriculum, obviously a written curriculum, and that is approved by the board. One of the things that people often don't know is that the board is also responsible for approval of all of the textbooks that are used within the districts. So sometimes people get concerned about particular textbooks, and it's important to know that the school board is responsible for the approval of those. So if there is a question, then those questions should be directed to the school board. While the superintendent of schools actually recommends the hiring of all the employees, the Board of Education actually has the final approval of all the employees of the district. Many districts also have unions, and those unions have employment contracts, and the board is responsible for the final approval of those contracts as well. And then finally, the board works with the superintendent and the rest of the administrative staff to develop a budget that is ultimately put out to the voters in the community for approval or disapproval. So there are several really important things that the school board is responsible for.
Now, Dr. Kerr, I've always wondered, what does it take, what are the qualifications to become a school board member?
Well, that's a good question as well, and it's an important one. In one sense, it's sort of funny because the first qualification is that a person has to be able to read and write. And you would think that everybody could do that, but unfortunately that's not the case. But that is one of the qualifications to be a board member. The second one is that you have to be a qualified voter within the district. In other words, you have to be eligible to vote. And then thirdly, you have to be a resident of that particular school district for the past year. So if you've just moved into the district, let's say within the last 30 days, you wouldn't be eligible to run for the board. And then you cannot be a current employee of that particular school district. Now you can be an employee of a neighboring school district or one in the area, but you can't be an employee of the specific school district where you're planning to be on the board. And then finally, you can't hold at the same time or simultaneously a certain other incompatible public offices within the district. And to understand what those are, you'd have to check legally what those incompatible offices might be. They're not ones that you might think of normally, and that's normally not a big issue. So those are the simple qualifications. I think based on what I know about you, you'd probably be eligible to be a school board member.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could become a school board member. Well, this does conclude the first session of Education Now. Please come back, or please continue or come back later for a session 2.